Hi, I'm Alex Gertie. I'm part of the Bridges program. I teach ninth grade Algebra 1 and I teach senior pre-calculus.
I'm Holly. I teach World History 1 to ninth graders and World History 2 to 11th graders.
And we were both in your position as a Teams tutor with Bob and Sharon. Hopefully you guys are having a great time. We wanted to talk to you about using tools and technology in the classroom environment and how Teams has helped us do that.
Definitely. So in the beginning, when we were in Teams, we had all these fun video games and activities that just like I personally, I think Alex too, we thought, how might we work this into a classroom? We were a little bit apprehensive about it. We didn't really see, would students buy into it? And I can say that for the most part, again, not every time because, students have those days where they're just not really feeling it. But for the most part, students are willing to buy into that and they're excited about it. And, it might work once or twice and sometimes they want to play it more. You kind of have to gauge that depending on the activity. But for the most part, they want to buy into it.
It also is like students never are completely closed off to new experiences. You have to find that place where students are comfortable, but they're being challenged. It's the zone of proximal development, which you should have learned about by now. But I think it's really important for technologies, and technology is a good aid for you as a teacher to push that. And especially when you implement it in a classroom environment, which we both have had experiences with, it's definitely more useful to the majority of students. Again, like Holly said, some students just don't take to certain technologies and they refuse, but I don't know. That allows you to be creative and bring out those like flexibilities that you need as a teacher.
I think a lot of times too, especially when you look at history and math, they're kind of seen as like you do it one way and that's the way it's done. But when you introduce these new technologies and you show students that there's new ways they can learn things and that, maybe they just, as Sharon says, like you're not bad at something, you just weren't taught it yet the right way or the good way, the best way for you. So a lot of these technologies provide students with that opportunity to show them, this is a better way for you to learn this material, and it gets them really engaged in it. And it's not for everyone. Some people are like, why can't we just read from the textbook, or like that's what I like, or like I prefer lectures, and I value that, and we try to mix it in, and we'll do like a mini lecture before we do something or after. And so there's ways to really engage everyone, and I think technology is an integral part of that.
Yeah. So like I said, I teach math. I'm going to give you a couple examples and how I've used those in my classroom just to show that technology can be useful. I use Desmos a lot. I used it earlier today just to show kids how if you relate graphs to equations in their minds when they're seeing it on a screen, and then they can guess, you can make it into a game, what's going to happen if I multiply it by -1, what's going to happen if I add 6 to it. So manipulating all of those things is a really useful tool for us to just show students, and they can actually interact with it before they're, pen on paper graphing it themselves. I also use like old technologies where I use like tape measures and protractors. So if you're hesitant to use technology, start there. I draw axes on the ground and have kids like graphing with their feet, and that's also been super helpful.
Yeah. For history, I'm kind of using, I rely a lot on Bob's Wiki for inspiration, and even if I'm not doing everything exactly from there, it's a really great starting point for me. A lot of the videos are really good, but again, I don't want to rely too much on one medium. I try to really mix it up. So I've used different news articles from National Geographic or New York Times. I've kind of tinkered with using Newsela to kind of bring in that differentiated learning. Even just YouTube videos, or, I don't use it so much in World History 1, but I know a lot of people use iCivics for U.S. history or civics in 8th grade, and so that's a really big deal. and students actually really enjoy that. So I use, a little bit of a crash course video here and there, or some, animated examples. Khan Academy every once in a while has something really great. You just have to know when to use it and know not to use it too much, because if you do the same thing too much, then no matter what it is, they're not really going to buy into it anymore. Lectures too many times, they're going to get bored. If you're watching a ton of videos, they're not going to be engaged. If they're doing the same thing over and over again, it's going to get old. And so the biggest thing from this is to really make sure you're using a lot of variety, and the best way to achieve that is to try new technologies, and to don't just end with the ones that Alex and I are talking about. Go out and try to find your own, because there's so many out there.
And let us know about them, because
yes.
we're always looking. And I think that's a good mark of a teacher too. Like, our mentor teachers who have been teaching for like 15, 20 years are still taking advice from us, changing up their lesson plans because we suddenly had an idea, or coming up with different things, even just by, Googling whatever you're teaching that day and seeing if anything interesting comes up. And I think it's really important as a teacher to be open and willing to trying everything and being adaptable, and having that be part of your practice.
Yeah, you're never done learning as an educator, and there's always going to be a new forum out there, or a new medium that someone has created, and it's your job to go out there and find it and to help your students learn and be the best students that they could be.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah, good luck.